Welcome to Body by Design. I'm your host, Blue Driver, a women's strength training and metabolism coach. I went from years suffering hormone imbalances, looking soft and bloated, to symptom-free and building muscle for a toned athletic physique. Since then, I've made it my mission to empower women to take control of their own health, hormones and body composition. So grab a cup of coffee and let's build your body by design. Welcome back to another episode of Body by Design. And today I have Kitty Blomfield on with us. Welcome, Kitty.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Lou. We've had a good old yarn, weren't we, before?
Yes. I feel like this podcast will be a good one. We both like to have
a good old yarn.
So Kitty is co-founder with Craig McDonald at New Strength, and you can find her on Instagram on her page under Kitty Blomfield. And I thought today we would get Kitty on and have a chat about alcohol and still achieving your health and body compositions. Where does it belong in your journey? I know there's a big movement out there for no drinking at all. I don't necessarily personally go down that path. I don't drink a lot. Kitty certainly lives a wonderful lifestyle, very pro-metabolic, and is super, super healthy in herself. But she also doesn't mind a drink once in a while. But it's about where does this fit with us in our journey?
And look, I was a big drinker, hey. Every now and then, I fall off the wagon, like when we got married in November. Oh, God, it took me about a week to recover. I was like, it didn't help that we stayed awake all night too and partied all night. But, I think, I used to drink for fun, to cope from stress, to numb feelings, and I feel
there's a difference.
I think you just got to really be honest with yourself and, ask yourself, there's a difference, like you say, between having a drink every now and then and having
you got married, you celebrated.
Right. That's
had a party.
Or going out for dinner every once in a while and having a wine, or you might go to a party, but it's infrequent. Or am I coming home every night? Do I need a glass of wine? Am I doing it to cope with stress? Why? Because I get the same question in our program, women also, where does drinking fit? And I always ask them, well, how frequently are you doing it? I think the frequency is important.
Yeah.
But look, the alcohol just it's no benefit to the body at all. Let's just be honest.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
Except that it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's no nutritional content.
No,
it's stressful to our liver. We get dehydrated.
Yeah.
It affects our appetite, our energy and everything the next day, training, the whole work. It has impact across the board.
And I do think a lot of women do, if you be honest, why are you really drinking?
I think that's a really big one. And, really interesting, I'm starting to hear a lot about, maybe it just hasn't taken off in Australia, but a few American clients and stuff. This is it the CBD cocktails now? And it's well, I might. So cannabis oil really is what they're talking about in drinks. And I'm like, is that just a replacement for something that you're using as a mechanism to cope for something? Because even then, regardless, and I don't know if we want to go down the rabbit hole of is cannabis good for you or not? We know alcohol's not, but if you feel the need to swap, what is the reason?
Why are you doing it? Why
are you doing it?
Do you need to relax? I get it, because I was the same. I'd be like, I need to drink a wine, and I used to take heaps of drugs as well. I've done it all.
Yeah.
No, and I think if you're doing it you have to do it to relax or wind down or escape, or, it's probably a problem.
Yeah. Look, I've never been a massive drinker. And I think even when I was drinking, a bottle of wine in a weekend was probably where I went. But what I saw in my habits was, particularly after my marriage had broken up, I saw that becoming the regular. Oh, I've made it through my working week. Now I get to drink on Friday. And it became habitual. It became the need on a Friday night, because that's how I reward myself for a hard week. And even though it was only a few drinks, it still impacts my sleep and all those sorts of things. And it was habitual. And that was, to me, when I really sat down and asked myself what I wanted, that's a problem, because it wasn't, I actually really love red wine, and I love to have a wine with, a really good pasta meal or really great steak to enjoy the wine, especially in winter. I love that. But I wasn't drinking for that reason anymore. I was looking for a cheap bottle of wine, drink. That's not enjoyment. That's not enjoyment. And it was habitual. So I had to ask myself and get serious about, do I really want to resolve all the issues that I have? And I think, people can look at yourself, and I mean, you've built a beautiful body. You've got a really healthy foundation. You've got some great balance in your life. Having a drink every now and then is not going to, it's still going to have impacts, but it's not going to hinder you as much.
No, because you've when you're trying to lose body fat and you've got, fucking perimenopausal symptoms and cycle issues, and, it's just really not doing you any fucking favors.
Can you not go without for a little while, or really minimize it as much as possible? I look at, look at our health and everything as a budget. I come from a finance background, so I like a budget. It makes sense to me. And our body requires all these nutrients for our foundation, our cardiovascular, our respiratory, all those foundations. And it's going to funnel whatever nutrients it gets into those functions first. And this is why we see things like reproductive sex hormones go down the drain. If you can't keep your own survival, your body's smart, wants you to survive. If you putting enough towards your own body surviving and thriving, it's not going to give your reproductive to support a second life the nutrients that it needs. And that's the way I look at it. And then if you're trying to heal that, it costs a lot to heal that, to get your basics down. You need to put some extra nutrients in even. Then you put alcohol on top. Well, it's expensive. Now, it's kind of like your power bill is quite expensive. You've got to pay that first before you go out and buy your Gucci handbag.
Totally.
And alcohol is the Gucci handbag. And your power bill is your health. And right now, you got to run that aircon 24/7 and pay that higher power bill while you heal. You're in a season of healing. You're in a season of summer where you require more, which is going to cost you more in nutrition and care and lifestyle, that you can't afford to put it into alcohol regularly.
I think too, also I say to women, do you want this to take longer?
Yes.
They never say yes. I'm not so if I gave you the option of this could happen in 6 months or 12 months, what would you choose? Obviously quicker.
6 months, yep. But that requires you not using the alcohol in the process of it.
I think too, you have to ask yourself, why do you have to have the drink? If you just can't go somewhere and not have some drinks, you have to ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Why?
That's right. Why? Is it social anxiety? Is it coping? Is it, there's so many different reasons why people do it, but you really have to reflect on yourself and find out why. Look, I know Craig makes me laugh. He's pretty hardcore. He's just eat like its own thing every day. Don't drink. I love him to death. But sometimes it's just not as simple for people like that.
No, I agree.
Particularly when you get out into a social situation.
I do think it's simpler though to not drink. I do think
simple but not easy.
Yeah, simple but not easy. But you have to at some point ask yourself, if you are so sick of being fat, because this is what women say to me, Kitty, I'm so sick of being fat. I'm so exhausted. These menopausal symptoms just kick my ass.
Yep.
I feel like shit. I hate my body, but I still want to have the drink. What is more important to you?
Yeah.
Do you want to feel better? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to get rid of those symptoms? And at some point you just have to make the choice and make the choice, be the person that inspires you. Think about that person that you want to become. Are they going to go to that party on the weekend and drink a bottle of wine? And yes, it's hard at the start. I agree. Because I was the party girl, always. Kitty's a fun party girl. For me to go somewhere and not drink, it was so difficult. But I think I just got to the point though where I was fuck, I don't want to feel like shit anymore. I'm so tired of being like this, and I'm so tired of numbing the feelings and the pain and anything else I was going through. It's I need to just not do it anymore.
Yep.
And you just do it once and you do it again and you keep making that decision. And I think if you can cut alcohol out for a period of time, what will happen is you'll feel so good. And then you'll go and drink again and you'll be like, oh man, like this is,
What did I do that for?
yeah, I remember the first time you had a drink after ages. I remember, and you were just like, you only had not that many.
I remember, no, I think because I hadn't drunk for so long. That wasn't too long ago. Probably June last year, I think it was, that I actually had what I refer to as a big night. It was 5 wines. That's it.
Which is a big night now, though. Like if I had
These
5,
days.
you feel like, and you remember the next day, you were like, oh my God.
Why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it took me days.
You.
Took me days to get over it. I hate wasting that time. And I just, don't get me wrong, I had a fucking awesome night. Celebrating a friend's birthday. And, you know, I actually didn't even go with the intention to drink. I sat down with one, and before I knew it, I was, partying. Anyway, and then the next day I was like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? But again, it has been about 12 months since I drank.
Exactly. So I think you've got to ask yourself, like, we're not saying don't ever drink again if you want to, but just look at the frequency, how much you're drinking, ask yourself why you're drinking, you know, and do you have some goals right now that would happen quicker if you just didn't drink? Like what would be the worst thing if you just didn't drink for like 4 months?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen is you miss a couple of drinks. There's really no worst case scenario out of it. So why wouldn't you at least just give it a go?
Yeah, totally. Like you won't regret it. Hey, I don't think. Yeah, go, you go.
Yeah, so you won't regret it. But I think you hit a really key point before that I wanted to highlight, which is live like the person that you want to be. You know, you were a drinker and had to go through that time. Well, okay, I'm just going to stop drinking to get to where I want to go. I've done that. Yes, okay, we now have occasional times where we drink, but we had to do the apprenticeship, if you want to look at it like that, to get to where we wanted to be with our health and body. You have to do that too. If that's where you want to go, and these women that just don't want to suffer anymore, you have to do your apprenticeship to get to the, yes, you can still drink occasionally. Yes, you can have meals out. I spent probably 2 years being really strict with drinking, going out. We used to have takeaway occasionally. I stopped all takeaway. If the family had takeaway, I'd have a freezer meal. I just made those choices because I was so sick of living with endometriosis, chronic thrush, fatigue. And I think once you get going and you start seeing some results, it's easy to keep going. But like we say, that initial part is hard work.
Yeah, and I think too, like the whole eating out thing, like once you build the foundation, you've got more muscle and you're at maintenance, like you can eat out heaps.
Yeah.
More. Like it's just not, also too, you're much better at like managing your hunger. Like, you know, you don't, because I think women too.
Just
like,
automatically choose better.
Yeah, and you just eat till you're full. You don't overeat anymore. You can just make good choices. You know, it's just so much easier. Like
when you love the food that you eat, you don't feel like you're missing out. And I love all the food I eat all the time. So when I go out, I really enjoy those meals, but I know I'll be going out again. And I also know that I'm going home to great food.
Exactly. So it's not like a thing anymore, is it? It's not like a thing, because before you'd be restricting and eating clean, and then you go out and you're like, oh, fucking great. I get to eat delicious food. Whereas I actually, like, we went through a period where we went at heaps and we were both like, I just don't want to go out anymore.
Yeah, I get like that. I crave to go back to my normal. I think Christmas time, I had my son home, all the Christmas food, all the rest of it. I mean, you know, I was cooking at home and I try and make it as clean as possible, but they weren't ideal foods. There were still things there that probably weren't great when we talk about foods we recommend pro-metabolically. But again, you know, built a sustainable body. But by the end of that week or two of celebrations, I was just like, please get me back to my food and training.
Yeah.
You crave to go back, and that's what you've got to build up to, because then it doesn't become hard. It's not a hard choice anymore. You want it.
Totally.
Got to get there. Got to get there.
But it's worth it, right?
I totally think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you go out, what sort of suggestions do you, it's easy to say, just don't do it. Yeah. What are some strategic ways of dealing? Because you've got the friends that go, oh, go on, one won't hurt, or why aren't you drinking? Like, what's some strategies you provide to help people manage those situations?
I think you should just be really honest with your friends. Like, and just say to them, hey, like, I'm experiencing all these issues and I'm working really hard on improving my health right now. And it would really mean a lot to me if you would just support me in not drinking.
100%.
Like, that's what I would do personally. Because I mean, what fucking friend would then turn around and go, have a drink, have a drink. Like, if you have a heartfelt conversation with someone,
Yeah.
if you're actually a good friend, and if they still tell you to drink, tell them to fuck off.
Now, I think that is the best, honesty is the best way to go, because you're going to have to start getting honest with yourself and your own thoughts and everything. So I think, if you can go to your friends, if they are true friends, they will support you.
They will.
But if you feel like you're not in a space where you can do that, or it's going to a party where there's maybe not those close friends and that, I usually tell people to get armed before they go. I think a really good one for me would be, I just go, oh, I'm designated driver tonight. That kind of.
Just pretend to drink and drink like soda and lime and just pretend it's fucking vodka.
Yeah, put it in a wine glass. That's another one I've used. Yep, soda, lime. Looks like a glass of white wine. No one knows. Just drink.
Just pretend.
Yeah. Can of Coke in a stubby cooler. You can always go, got a bit of bourbon in there, whatever. Because really, at the end of the day, it's not anyone's business.
No.
I do think the honesty thing is the best route to go, but I do also understand that some people are either they're not that close a friend or whatever the situation.
Party, yeah, totally. And I think in that case, for sure, just pretend.
Yep. Yes. And just, go armed, think about the scenarios, think about the types of people that are going to be there. And you can usually judge what you think people might say when you know them. So come up with some one-liners, and also I always say also a quick conversation changer. So the conversation doesn't linger on it. You don't have to explain yourself. Oh, you're not drinking. Yeah, no, I'm not tonight. Or yeah, I've just got a glass of wine. And then quickly change the conversation, have a topic in your head that you can go, oh, hey, by the way, change the conversation and move away from talking about drinking.
Yeah, totally.
I think a lot of the time it's the push to drink is a lot about other people's own.
Like, well, why aren't you drinking? Because I need you to drink too, so I feel better.
I went to a friend's 40th. And I think I was actually in a deficit at the time as well, but I wasn't drinking. And he was like, oh, we can get you this and we can get you that. And I'm like, yeah, it's all good, all good. And then Dean comes back with a glass of water for me. And I'm like, thanks, right in front of him. He's like, but you're not drinking. And I'm like, it's okay. I won't say their name, but it's okay. I'm actually okay with it. And I'm okay that you're drinking.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue not drinking. Oh, but we've got a bus to take everyone home. That's okay. I don't need to drink. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think it's more about them. But I remember when I was a heavy drinker, I didn't give a fuck if anyone else was drinking. I just cared that I could drink.
Yes.
It's funny that people so worried about what you're eating or bloody drinking or it's interesting.
I think people get used to you once you've done those hard steps. They know. And then they give up.
Yeah, like Craig's never drunk. And people just know Craig just doesn't drink.
Yeah, and people just know that about him.
I know that. Yeah,
him are they?
Yeah. Well, he's a non-drinker. Like, it's a bad thing. He doesn't drink. It's bad.
Yeah. Look, I think now, it's a little bit easier for us. Dean obviously can't drink a lot now with only one kidney on the go. So, we probably both lent into that a fair bit. I'm going out in sympathy for him, So
good, but how perfect.
Yeah,
it works when you both don't drink. I mean, look, maybe if Craig was a big drinker, it'd be harder for me. Maybe, given that I still am partial.
Probably would have.
Yeah, it's good that he doesn't drink.
Yeah, brings you some balance.
Yeah, means I'm less tempted.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, but I think there's times when in the past where I've drunk more, like for a few, I'm like, what are you doing? Like slipping back into the old habits. Stop.
When it gets a little bit regular again and you're like,
nah. Yeah, you just go through this stuff.
We are all human.
That's right.
I think when we talk about what you need to do to get there, it does sound maybe restrictive, very routine. We've done that. We're in a better place, and it probably, when you get into a better place, it does make it a little bit easier to slip back because you've got that flexibility. So you do have to still have those honest conversations and go, hang on, you're probably being a little bit liberal here.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah, it's like, I love champagne and I love cocktails and I love feeling drunk. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun, but you just feel so terrible the next day. Like even We went on, not this, a few weekends ago, we caught up with one of the guys from Survivor, and I had one margarita and I still had a shit sleep.
Yeah, one drink throws me. I know. And I never used to really realize it, but I realize now. And a lot of the women that have given it a go, and even within a couple of weeks, they go, oh, I wasn't drinking much, but I've now realized how much it was affecting my sleep. And they reflect back on it. It's like, it actually hasn't been that hard. Some still go back and give it a try again, but then they usually come out the other side and go, yeah, wasn't as fun as what I thought it was going to be, because they get that next day feeling. I think you've got to step away from it, sometimes fail again and feel it, and then for it to cement and go, yeah, okay, got to pull up here.
Totally. Yeah, it'll be a lifelong challenge.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. I don't really think about drinking that much, to be honest, now.
No, and it's a balance. It becomes a balance thing. I think that, you know, there is a really strong movement out there that alcohol is poison and don't drink it at all. And you can go down that path.
Yeah. And look, it is poison.
And they're not wrong in what they're saying.
They're not wrong. Yeah.
Wrong. But that's where your balance comes into it. It's okay if you want to, but you've got to why and how often are you really doing this? And are you where you want to be yet? Because probably why you're not where you want to be, whether it be body fat, building muscle, you know, even if you don't have a lot of body fat, but you want to gain the muscle and you're in that part of your journey. Again, muscle's an expensive tissue. I go back to that budget thing.
Yeah, totally.
It's expensive. Your body's not going to build it if it can't support everything else.
If you have a shit sleep, if you drink, have a shit sleep, you can't perform in the gym the next day. But again, like, you know, like you say, just have one every now and then, have a few every now and then, and just, yeah, don't go and drink 10 bottles of wine in one sitting.
No.
And drink about 100 fucking margaritas. Yeah.
Lucky you only get married once, eh?
Well, twice now.
Yeah, me too.
I drank fucking too much at the first wedding as well. And back then I took a heap of drugs as well. So double whammied it, you know? Yeah. Ex-husband was asleep in bed and I was up partying the pool with everyone till 6 a.m.
Really?
Oh, really?
Was that not a sign?
Oh, God. It was pretty fun, though, you know?
Yeah. And look, you know, we're not saying don't go out and have fun. That's the thing. And I think that's, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you on and get that perspective of you can find balance, but we have both been through that journey of you actually do have to compromise. It's like the food thing as well. You've got to compromise on how much you go out to get to where you want to go first.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. But it is worth it, I think. Like, and it's just, if you train hard and you like, if you're consistent all the rest of the week and you have one meal out, like just try and, you know, if you're going to go out, be 100% the rest of the time. You know, so it's just one meal that you're eating off the plan, and then make a good choice and don't
make good choices. Try and fit it into macros best you can. And really, it shouldn't be
a big deal. Exactly. No, I agree. Because everything else is on point. Like, let's say you're having, I don't know, 5 meals a day, 7 days a week. What's that? 35? Is that 35?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. One meal and 34 meals that are right, like that are on track. It's not going to matter. And unless you eat 2 large pizzas and drink a bottle of wine.
If you do it reasonably, we're not talking about doing shitty takeaway weekly or anything like that. Go out to it, you know, pick your potatoes and your steaks and, you know, those nice things. Try and avoid the creamy sauces. It's just calorie loaded. Those sorts of things, you know, just be reasonable about what you don't actually. I mean, I think the first year I just pretty much didn't eat out or anything. I was pretty hardcore on just wanting to get past my symptoms. But then after that, I eat out. We don't eat out heaps, but we eat out. It's okay. You can fit it into your macros.
Yeah.
You know, one meal with a little bit of poofer in it is not going to.
Don't worry about it. Don't like stress yourself out. Like, so it just doesn't fucking matter.
I think that's another one of the things where we get those extremities where I get worried that, I mean, we talk about pro-metabolic living and the repeat principles and things like that, which are all fantastic, but we don't need to turn it into another keto diet. And I think there's some extremists out there that it's being turned into another fad diet because there is no reasonable, you know, like you say, 35 meals in a week. One's not going to hurt you if you choose wisely.
Exactly.
Our bodies are actually pretty smart being. They're designed to detox. deal
and
with
if
those
you're
things.
stressing so much about that, it's going to be worse for you anyway.
That's right. Your body will deal with that. It's just when you're assaulting it every meal with additives, preservatives, shit oils.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking, all those fibrous foods. If you go down the other extreme, the nuts and fibrous vegetables and broccoli and your gut's churning, if you do everything right all the time, one meal is not going to hurt you.
That's right. And you know what I value so much is I feel I found such freedom with food, finding repeat. Like it's not restricted. Now I don't worry anymore. I don't really look at foods as good or bad. It's just I know what works for my body, what tastes nice, what digests well, what has nutrients in it. But the food digests well and gives you it's the yummy food.
They are yummy foods.
Orange juice and potatoes and steak and ice cream.
Who wants to eat lentils and broccoli?
Not me.
Yeah, I don't eat those.
Yeah, agree.
Only because, like, if there's a bit of broccoli in my stir fry or whatever, I go, yeah, okay, whatever. It's not like I hate it, but I don't serve it every meal.
Me too. Like something green with every meal. Spinach in the smoothie in the morning, green beans with morning tea, spinach at lunchtime, big plates of broccoli, cabbage at night. Oh my God.
And now we have, chips.
Potato. Yeah. Air fried chips, ice cream.
Love them. So yes. So I think, you do find a lot of freedom with it. And then, if you can have those hard conversations and work through why you're drinking, I think you find a freedom in that too. I actually find it really freeing that I don't feel the pressure to drink anymore. And I look around and I look at everyone drunk. They're pretty funny. And then I go, yeah, I won't be feeling like you tomorrow. And then you get on Facebook and you see them all going, oh my God. Yeah. No, I've been out for my morning walk and doing what I do and I feel great and I don't regret it.
Yeah. So good.
So is there anything else that you think that needs to be touched on when it comes to alcohol? I think we covered most of it, hey?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and chatting with me. I really do appreciate it. And for anyone who found this helpful, feel free to share it on Instagram and tag me at strengthtraining.nutritionist. Get my own tag right soon. And we will see you in the next episode.